Marched near the state capitol. Students were joined by others, and the violence continued a few blocks away at underground Atlanta and on other nearby streets. Tonight, the crowds have diminished, and the city has not issued a curfew. Georgia Public Safety Commissioner Ronald Bowman says, hopefully, we have seen the worst of it. Some 4,000 National Guard troops have been deployed to try to restore calm in Los Angeles. A citywide curfew is in effect from dusk until dawn there. California Governor Pete Wilson says he's among those shocked by the not guilty verdicts in the racially charged police beating trial, but he says there is no excuse for lawlessness, and he promises that rioters will be prosecuted. The death toll continues to rise in L.A. as the violence continues. Authorities now say 14 people have died in the post-verdict rioting. And a field trip to O'Hare International Airport in Chicago has turned tragic for a group of third graders. Authorities say a car jumped a curb and plowed into a crowd, killing one 9-year-old girl and injuring 88 other people. News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB. Just ahead, the 5-day forecast.
I'm glad you were able to spend some time with us. You were talking a moment ago about listening, especially to the young people and their concerns tonight in the meetings that you've had.
Yes.
And trying to help them and straighten out some, you said, I believe the word was some serious misconceptions that they might have had. What are some of the misconceptions young people are having? And because there may be some people listening that this could be of some value to.
There were a number of young people who said the nonviolent movement did not work, that the nonviolent methodology has failed us. And there were some who were actually involved in the movement who had to explain to them how, that it has worked. We were no longer sitting at the back of the buses. We're no longer going into the balcony. We no longer are not working at banks. How can you actually sit here and say that it did not work?
Mm-hmm.
What has happened is that we did not share with you how far we have come from. And I was very moved that the young people listened to that.
Mm.
After we listened to them, they listened to us.
Very open-minded.
Very open, and that's when I found out about the meeting tonight at King Chapel, which I was invited to come to, and as soon as I finished this interview, that's where I'm headed, because I think we can listen and learn from each other, and that's the only way real healing is going to occur. Frustration, all of us felt that, and I've also been encouraged, Wes, that it's not just blacks. I felt and ran into a number of whites today who felt the same way I felt about the verdict.
Right.
It's not just that blacks were upset. There were a number of whites who were also upset about the verdict, and I don't think they should be made victims.
And they want to work together with everybody, and people want to lower any barriers, and they want to work together and move forward. And that was, to hear you say that they had an open mind and were listening was going to be my next question, because as I see, even though it's small numbers, and I've been emphasizing this all night long, and many in the media have been doing the same thing, that what we're seeing here in our city this afternoon and what we've seen in the clips from Los Angeles, those are small numbers. They don't represent by any stretch of the imagination the majority of people's reaction. But even though they are still a small number, I was thinking to myself, how do we reach them? Are they willing to listen? And I guess what I'm hearing in an optimistic tone from you is, yes, believe it or not, they will be willing to listen if we can sit down and just talk and just and have an open mind both ways.
I mean, the pot had reached a part where it had to vent.
Yeah.
And now I think it has vented, and there's a time for everything, and now is the time for reason. So we're going to sit down, we're going to listen to them, they will be listening to us, and I think we're going to be able to move forward.
Well, Reverend McDonald, thanks again for being with us. If anything else develops and you want to share with our audience, you have an open invitation to do so, and I'm glad you took some time with us tonight.
Thank you for your show, and I think you're doing a great job, and just keep moving in that positive direction.
Thank you. Reverend Timothy McDonald, who is the Executive Director of the Concerned Black Clergy here in the city of Atlanta, as he contributes his thoughts and shares some of the views of what he's been hearing as well. And this whole issue, where do we go now, Atlanta, in the whole process of moving forward? We have to do that. I can't stress that anymore. And I think all of us here at News Talk Radio AM-750 WSB want to encourage as many people as possible, and you're hearing it, I think, throughout all the other programs, that this is a terrific city, and we can move forward. We can rise above what we've been seeing and hearing this afternoon. Bob in Duluth, thanks for waiting, Bob. You're on News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB.
Always a pleasure, Wes. I don't really know what healing needs to take place here. I know that we're all a little frustrated and, probably a little angry at what happened yesterday in the courtroom, and although we don't have all the facts yet, I think one of the main things that could help bring the healing about is one of the things that the minister just before me here was talking about was, groups like that getting together,
right,
whether it be church or community groups or whatever, just discussing what happened here. And
here's another group, and I'm just writing this down, and we haven't had much discussion about this, but what about schools?
Oh, absolutely.
Young people are going for those who do go to school tomorrow, I mean, I think there may be some value. What do you think of this idea? There may be some value for teachers to maybe forego some time in their class and just open it up and say, hey, let's talk. And let young people talk to young people and teachers talk to young people. And maybe I should say maybe teachers just listen and let young people speak out on this. And that's another thing in schools, because there must be some tension in schools. I mean, if there's tension everywhere else in the workplace, and everywhere else, there's certainly the students are feeling some of this.
Absolutely. And, we have that, counseling type when we have different types of things that do happen in school. And I sat with my daughter this afternoon and discussed this with her.
Good.
We were watching it on CNN and asking her if she understood, exactly. And she said, yeah. And she said that they discussed it at school a little bit because they have TVs in the schools now and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but the final thing, the thing that's really going to relieve everything here is that all the facts about this case come out.
That's right. And I said that last night, that we have a lot of reading to do in the ensuing days, because we were not privy to all of, at least I wasn't, to all of the evidence that was presented in that trial. What was it, 3-month trial? We weren't privy to what was going on in the jury room. We don't know what sort of instructions the jury was given. I was hearing I was watching something on TV today where some jurors were talking, or a juror was talking. But until we get the complete outline of that, most of this country is expressing its opinion based on a videotape that we saw March 3rd or March 4th now. I guess was the day at March 4th, 1991.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Wes. Bye-bye.
Jim and Conyers on News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB.
Yeah, Wes, how you doing?
Okay.
I feel the way to healing is to begin with yourself, to take to heart the golden rule and to put that rule into action, and to teach that rule to all you come in contact with, to be open to differences as a way to advance your own understanding of others, and not to be judgmental, but to use every situation that you may encounter as a learning tool to help yourself as well as others.
Yeah.
And like Reverend McDonald said, that unity is going to be a big key part of this, and everybody does need to work together to work these things out.
Thank you very much. Glenn and Lilburn, you're on News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB, the phone number 872-0750. Good evening.
Yes, Wes. I've been pretty sad most of the day, and I think a lot of people are pretty ashamed about all this, but I was trying to think, what could we really do to make up for the injustice that's been done? And I thought of an idea that maybe some of the other callers could comment on, maybe you could comment on and help me develop it. I wanted to try to think of a way to set up a kind of a Rodney King Justice Fund where everybody who wanted to, who felt bad about it, could donate just $1. And if enough people did this, it might spread from Atlanta to other cities, and maybe they'd match what we did and send a check out to Rodney King and his family for, I'd say it'd be in the millions of dollars. And I don't know, in this country, the only way that we can make up for injustices sometimes is money. So I don't know what people think about that, but I think it'd get people to thinking about it. I'm a little bit nervous. It's the first time I've ever called.
Oh, I'm glad you called, and you're doing fine. Go ahead.
But I don't know how other people felt, but I kind of...
Let me ask you, Glenn, I haven't asked anybody, when you went to work today, was this the big topic?
Everywhere I went.
Was it hard?
Everywhere I went, people were talking about it.
And I know that sounds like a stupid question. Let me tell you why. I mean, was it difficult to keep your focus at work, knowing the things that have been going on?
Well, I'm in sales, and everyone that I talked to and everything had a comment to make about it, and everyone just kind of shaking their head and just really stunned by it. And none of this violence would have happened if the jury had come back with the proper verdict. I think we could all agree on that, and I just feel bad. I don't know all the details of it, but I know he took a real bad beating, and then they were talking about after this comes the civil case. Well, I know a little bit about law, but if you get an innocent verdict in the criminal case, the civil case is going to look pretty grim.
I'm glad you called tonight, Glenn. Call us again.
I don't know how we could set this up, Wes, but maybe you could start it rolling, and we could start it with WSB here in Atlanta, where we set up this Justice Fund, and
we'll see what people think.
And see what people think about it.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
Becky in Athens, 15 away from 10. You got Westminster on News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB.
Hi.
Hi.
Actually, I had called first before you put the clergyman on the air to see about maybe having a Peace Sunday where the ministers of all the churches would get away from the traditional sermon. I don't think there'd be a lot of angry voices, shouting voices in a church.
Yeah.
We are in the Bible Belt, and then I'm also a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard, a little bit what you had to say. We didn't discuss it at all at our school.
You did or did not?
Did not. No one talked about it. And the perception of the police is probably a big reason for that. The only time they're at our school is to pick someone up. I think that's the message. I know that I'm afraid whenever I see one pull up behind me and not even, knowing that I haven't done anything wrong, I think maybe the days of Andy Griffith are over, and we need to have more policemen in the community being there, being helpful, not having the lights on, coming to get the kids. And that could tie in with the church. There's no reason not to introduce the policemen that patrol these communities, all of our communities.
That's right. That's got to be one of the most dangerous jobs in the world, to be a police officer in America today.
Mm-hmm. But
I'll tell you, it's one of the most admirable jobs, and so is teaching, I might add. Since you're a teacher, I'll bring that up as well. So is teaching. And I think that there's an opportunity here. Last night I heard from several police officers who were very concerned about how their role was going to be viewed. And again, I said last night, I'll say it again tonight, I don't want to see an indictment against our local police department. Our police officers do a very good job, and our local police departments need to be supported. They don't need to be scorned. And I think what you're suggesting here is to invite police officers to the schools, to encourage our people to... I've said this so many times before, it sounds like a broken record, but whenever you see a police officer, hey, thank them for what they're doing.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be one of these mushy things. Oh, gee, you're doing such a... they're just a person like you and me, and they expect, to be treated fairly, just like you and me, and they also appreciate every now and then just a kind word, just like you and me.
Well, and as far as that justice fund, I think we need to keep our money here. I think, in civil cases, there is a greater chance of winning those, even if you don't win the criminal case. But for every Rodney King, we have people in the paper every day that don't have videotapes. Things are happening to them. But because we don't have all the media blitz, people don't realize that. We need to, as a community, sink our money. It's a lot easier to send a check within your own community than to say, oh, sure, I'll send it to the radio station and they'll get it together. You're never going to do that. Send it into your community. Stop off on the way to work. Stop off at this, shelter or that. Keep the money in the community to help those people that don't have benefit of the big media, blitz and everyone around knows who they're... For every Rodney King, there are thousands of others that are oppressed or hurt in the same way that need to be taken care of here at home. And when that is taken care of, I think nationwide, there's a better sense of, we're all behind each other. We're all working for each other. To me, it's just too easy to send money to one person and then to absolve our conscience.
All right, Becky.
Thank you.
Have a great night. A good day tomorrow at school.
Thank you.
11 minutes away from 10 o'clock. We've got another hour of the Westminster Talk Show where you can speak out. We're talking about strategies for healing in Atlanta City. That's what we're talking about tonight on the Westminster Talk Show. And expect overnight lows to be 56 degrees tonight. Kirk Mellish, our home meteorologist, tells you it's going to be a pretty warm weekend, too. Starts off tomorrow with a high of 83, Saturday's high 88, Sunday in the middle 80s. It's 69, as I said a moment ago. Our phone number here in Midtown, our phone number is 872-0750. Andrew in Woodstock, glad to have you waiting to be on News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB, Andrew.
Thank you, Wes.
I've been listening to all the comments that have been made, and it looks like we're going in the right direction. And I think one of the key things that we need to keep in mind is just the single issue that's been raised today is just the tip of the iceberg of the many issues that are facing not only the city but the state, and also just on a national conference that we need to start looking at and communicating. And I was really targeting on strategies and some of the topics. And there's been one topic that's been kind of hot that got put to bed rather quickly a few months ago, and that concerned our state flag. And I was thinking in terms of strategies, it might be a good time now to start just discussions. I'm not saying we do or do not change it, but I think we should discuss it. Because you have to understand the underlinings why the flag was changed to begin with.
And the motive and the premise of what you're talking about is if there are symbols out there that still drive bigotry, that drive hatred, what have you, should we discuss about whether or not those symbols are valid? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. Understand the symbolism of why the Confederate bars are on the state flag. If those same imageries hold true today, I seriously doubt it, but there are some people that still hold to some of those values and like to support that, kind of idea.
And again, I'm all for open discussions because, again, if we're going to move forward, we have to have that open-mindedness. But I'm not trying to throw a negative here, but let me bring this up, and that is when I hear that, I'm hearing in the back of my mind, I also think, well, for everybody that says they want to be open-minded, but when it comes to their one little pet preference, if you will, well, the flag, nothing wrong with the flag, then is that going to raise another roadblock, and then we're back to square one? I would hope not. I mean, using that as an example.
Well, I think that issue kind of got hastily put aside going into the State Assembly this year. It really wasn't discussed. I heard the concerns that were being made in our black community, and you've got to listen to them and need to start listening.
That's the word of the night, isn't it? Listening.
It really is, and just putting yourself in another person's position and trying to understand where they're coming from, because there's a great amount of frustration that's out there that I think just this incident was just the release. I think some other things could have triggered.
And now we move forward. Andrew, thanks for the call.
Sure thing.
Wes Minner with you with another hour. Here's some Van Halen taking us out. Right now, we work for the future. Right now. News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB, Atlanta's station, when Atlanta wants to speak out. Right now.
They're coming, and there's no way to stop them. They'll move into your home, take over your life, break up your marriage, and spoil your children. They're your folks.
Mom and Pop are going to live with us for a while.
How nice. We don't want to be a burden. We'll sleep in the car.
It's a comedy everyone can relate to.
You're much nicer than John's first wife. You were married before and you didn't tell me?
Tom Selleck.
Didn't I tell you?
Started out as protest against yesterday's verdict in Los Angeles, acquitting 4 white police officers in the videotaped beating of black motorist Rodney King. On the phone with us right now is AM-750 WSB reporter Doug Rink with the latest.
I'm at Atlanta City Hall, where Mayor Maynard Jackson is at this hour holding a news conference. Mayor Jackson assesses the situation in Atlanta as being under control, but he says as a preventive measure, a curfew goes into effect at 11 o'clock tonight until 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. He stresses this is a one-night curfew, but it could be expanded to other nights if the situation is deemed necessary. Jackson, of course, spent the day meeting with student groups. He says the students, the demonstrators, were frustrated, lacked direction, and some did not discipline their anger over what happened in California. That anger led to violence, according to Mayor Maynard Jackson. The Jackson says that cannot be tolerated. Again, repeating, a curfew goes into effect in just under an hour from now at 11 o'clock tonight in the city of Atlanta. The curfew will last until 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. Reporting live at City Hall, Doug Rink, AM-750, WSB News.
And Atlanta police moved in on groups in downtown this evening, making mass arrests. Police Major W.W. Holly tells WSB News most will face minor charges.
We're going to be looking at a model charge. Basically, we probably look at our disorderly conduct or something in that area.
Some of tonight's arrests involved kids as young as 10 years of age. What now for Atlanta? Differences of opinion at Atlanta University Center today.
Now, we had one of our student, quote, leaders come before you and say that we should not let our emotions cloud our reason. I would like to say to you, my brothers and sisters, there was reason for that emotion this afternoon.
Meanwhile, Mayor Maynard Jackson called for calm.
I urge you to unify, to come together, to stay together. Don't try to tear this city up. It's not going to help you to do that. It's not going to benefit you to do that. And I'm in a position that I cannot let you do that.
News Talk Radio AM-750 WSB. Coming up, the National Guard troops arrive in L.A., plus the weather from Atlanta's only full-time radio meteorologist.
Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz dealer RBM is offering for a limited time special new short-term low-cost lease programs and purchase plans on practically every new 1992 Mercedes-Benz model. These innovative new programs are letting more and more value-conscious people drive Mercedes-Benz for the cost of a lesser car. Right now, RBM of Atlanta is offering a short-term, lower-cost, sensible lease on the standard 300E, fully equipped with sunroof, only $599 a month for 36 months, with only the usual tax, tag, title, acquisition fee, and first month's payment down. RBM's 300E closed-end lease program, $599 a month for 36 months. Come get details on this exceptional short-term, lower-cost program available at the South's largest authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer, RBM of Atlanta. This limited time offer may be withdrawn without notice. Come see how truly affordable Mercedes-Benz is now during our 30th anniversary celebration at RBM of Atlanta, North Sandy Springs.
Hey everybody, this is David Paul for DeKalb Tire Company. I know you don't want to hear about tires. Tires are a bore. Tires are a pain. You don't even want to think about them until they're like a cue ball, right? So what do? You say, okay, I'm going to go to one of those big ads in the newspaper, the Sunday newspaper, and I'm going to find the cheapest thing I can stick on my car. Are you stupid? That's junk. Listen, you go to DeKalb Tire and you get some Michelins. DeKalb Tire doesn't sell any of that junk that nobody ever heard of. They sell just name brands, and the prices are absolutely rock bottom, lowest in town. And I'm cheap, man. I want the money in my pocket, not on tires. Who cares about tires? So go to DeKalb Tire. They've got the XH4s, Michelin's longest mileage tire. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires, you've got to have this on your car. Don't be stupid. Go to DeKalb Tire. Dave Paul says it. I go to DeKalb Tire. I'm a cheap guy. You're a cheap person. DeKalb Tire. 6 locations around the city, including the brand new one at Piedmont and Peachtree, and the lowest prices on everything they sell. DeKalb Tire.
News Talk Radio AM-750 WSB. It's 10:04. The National Guard has been called in to help stem the violence in Los Angeles. Correspondent Tony Winton says the Guard is authorized to return fire.
Thousands of National Guard troops are taking up positions in Los Angeles. Officials say, however, that ammunition is being carefully controlled to prevent loss of life. In Sacramento, Governor Pete Wilson says the soldiers are authorized to defend themselves, however.
If the Guard is fired upon, in certain circumstances, they will, in fact, fire back in order to protect themselves, in order to protect innocent people.
The Guard's mission, according to the governor, is to support police by preventing looters from re-entering secured areas. The initial deployment was 2,000 troops, but Wilson says he's okay to request for more. Tony Winton, Los Angeles.
President Bush says tonight he'll try to help the healing process following the King verdict.
I pledge to this nation I will do what I can to heal the wounds. I will see that the law is enforced when it comes under the responsibility of the president. Yes, I'll do that. Society deserves that sense of order. But I will do my level best to heal the wounds and to bring people together in the aftermath of the ugliness that we witnessed last night.
And this just into AM-750 WSB News. Governor Zell Miller tonight has put the Georgia National Guard on standby in case of more trouble here in Atlanta. The governor issued a brief statement tonight saying the Guard was on standby. Keep up to date with the WSB 24-hour news team. Tune in 2, 3, 4 times a day. News Talk Radio AM-750 WSB. Now, Atlanta's most accurate weather with WSB meteorologist Kirk Mellish.
The National Weather Service 30 and 90-day outlook for Georgia, May through July. Near normal rainfall with below average temperatures in May and near normal temperatures June and July. The WSB exclusive 5-day forecast for tonight, clear, low 53 to 55. For tomorrow, sunny and warmer, high 82 to 84, low 58 to 60. The extended outlook, Saturday through Monday, partly cloudy and warm on Saturday, and then a cooling trend by Monday. High Saturday, 84 to 86, low 62. High Sunday, 76, low 55. High Monday, 73, low 48. Recapping the forecast for tonight, clear, low 53 to 55. I'm meteorologist Kirk Mellish in the AM-750 WSB Weather Center.
Currently, WSB color radar clear under partly cloudy skies. The relative humidity 59%. Winds from the northwest at 7 miles an hour. Barometric pressure 29.89 and rising. And at 10:07, the temperature on Peachtree Street 68 degrees. Wes Minter is next. I'm Tom Kennedy, and if news breaks out, we'll break in. This is Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic station. News Talk Radio AM-750 WSB. Depend on it.
Wes Minter Talk Show for this Thursday night, the 30th of April, 1992 AD. For News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB. You heard Tom Kennedy report there in the news that Mayor Maynard Jackson announced this evening a curfew in the city that begins short of 1 hour from now, 11 o'clock at night, goes till 5 a.m. We were watching Phil and I were watching clips of some fires burning out in Los Angeles. Fires are burning in the hearts of people. We've been spending a lot of time tonight not raging and beating on the table and a lot of people did that last night. A lot of people still want to do that, and I can understand that. We've been taking time tonight trying to say, what are we going to do now, Atlanta? What are we going to do now, America? The word healing has been used a lot tonight. A lot of people around town, around America, use the word healing. I heard in the newscast President George Bush using the word healing. How serious are we about healing? How serious are we about helping one another? Oh, dare I say the word love? How serious are we about really loving one another? How serious are we about committing the needs of this nation and of this city to a positive track? Well, that really is ultimately left up to you, and it's left up to me. Collectively, we can say we this, we that, but individually is where it should start. And so when I asked tonight for views about a strategy for healing, we've had several great contributions. When I ask about what you think is the future for our city, what's the future for downtown, you've had great comments. And they're great because, and I don't want to sound cliche, but they're great because the people of this city are great. And the overwhelming majority of the people of this city decry the violence, decry the disorder, the terror, the intimidation that goes on and committed and perpetrated by a small group of those who believe in lawlessness, who are driven by emotion, who have no direction. You see, it's easy to get on a soapbox and shout and scream and try to let emotions prevail. But when cool heads prevail, they prevail because of common sense and because of thought, because of, as I said a moment ago, because of care. And so we'll continue this hour with your thoughts on the strategies for healing for our city. Phil Hendry will be here at 11 o'clock. He'll take you all into the night, letting you speak out as well. Speak out and share. And give your views and thoughts. The news of yesterday is yesterday. And there are times, I'm sure in the future, we're going to be able to go back and review and discuss and say what now and what if and all that. And those will be important and significant times. And just because it's yesterday's news or old news does not mean it's not significant news. But what we're doing tonight is, I guess, trying to reaffirm the theme that we've said about this city so many times before, a city too busy to hate. And Daryl in Atlanta has been waiting to be on. You're in the air on News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB. Daryl, thanks for calling.
Yes. I would like to, I heard a lot of people use the word unity, even the Mayor Maynard Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
There needs to be unity amongst the blacks and the whites, not just the blacks or the whites.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And that's the mistake that they're making. They need to clarify and to say the blacks and the whites need to come together in this time. Because there are a lot of white people upset just as well there are blacks.
Right.
I'm a black male, and I'm saying this as a black male. The whites need to come together too in this time.
Mm-hmm. That's part of what I was speaking last hour about reaching out. We were talking with the Reverend McDonald with the Concerned Black Clergy. We're talking about reaching out to all peoples.
Yes.
And we have to do that. This is not a time for labeling. It's not a time to debate one's politics. It's, you know, there are times for that and rational times, but this is a time to reach out. And this is a time for everybody to help one another. And so I think that as we talk about the strategies for healing, you've added another good one in there, Daryl, and that is everybody talking to everybody, not just into one group.
Yes.
Thanks, my friend.
Thank you.
Christy in Stone Mountain at 10:13 on News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB.
Good evening. Hi, I just wanted to call and say that I, of course, am devastated about what happened today. But I went to school today. I go to a predominantly white high school, and I was so appalled by the comments I heard. I've always considered my friends to be an enlightened generation. I mean, our parents were raised, you know, their parents were racist mostly, and especially coming from the South, and it seemed like, you know, as the generations progressed, the racism got better. But today, I've heard so many comments about, I mean, I actually had a friend that said they should have shot, you know, King.
When you say, by the way, when you say the racism got better, you mean it got lessened?
Yes, got lessened. I was thinking
I understand.
that people were becoming, you know, aware of how things are.
Right.
I was so appalled today by the comments I heard. I mean, I think media stereotyped, you know, blacks into this sort of image of people who kill for tennis shoes and steal our scholarships. I mean, we have seen, I've heard such appalling things today. I've been so ashamed of my friends.
Well, when you hear it, Christy, do you speak out?
Yes, of course. I mean, I don't know exactly how to handle something like that.
Yeah, I know. It is difficult. And it puts you, it positions you against your friends. And then all of a sudden it's kind of an us-them thing. But there's got to be a way to be able to discuss something with somebody and try to point out the error in their words without, you know, I guess without the fear of losing friendship. And I guess we had a caller a couple hours ago. She said, you know, that she's lost some friendships over this. Well, maybe, you know, maybe you reevaluate the whole issue of friendship after discussions like that. I don't know.
I just feel like the education system isn't putting enough into it. I have a feel. I mean, we never have in schools. We've never had any education as to Black history other than, you know, the Civil Rights Movement. I think we have no idea of Black culture, especially out in the middle class white areas. I mean, suburbia. I mean, we've no concept of what it's like. I mean, I've had Black friends, and that's the only way I know. But my other friends are ignorant to such things, and I guess that can cause.
I think what you're saying is, first of all, you spoke out to your friends in school, and tomorrow, we mentioned this last hour. I'd like to see some schools just open up some time and let people talk about it, and without it getting into a major debate. You know, I mean, we ought to be able to discuss these things. I mean, this has been, I guess, a change for myself in the last year. I've been trying to think to myself, you know, if we've got a position, and everybody knows I've got positions and views on issues, but there's two ways of communicating them. There's two ways of trying to win somebody to your side. And I think the way that works more in the future now is to take the approach that everybody's entitled to their view and try to share yours in a common sense way, not beat it into them, you know, not try to berate them.
That way,
I mean, that old way just quite frankly, I just don't. I don't think it's productive.
Yeah, I feel like the media is giving a real negative view to the issues too. I feel like they've done an excellent job with covering this by saying that this is a small portion of of the group, that not everybody is running out in the streets.
Yeah, we have to
havoc.
be. Those in the media have to be, and I include myself, to be careful that you don't become. We don't become cheerleaders in the issue. Guess what's happening now, and but rather than to try to, at least that's what we're trying to do here at News Talk Radio AM-750 WSB, and that is not to be cheerleaders, but to try to help people open up and talk with one another and move the city forward. I'm glad you called.
Okay.
Have a great night and good day tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
1017 News Talk Radio AM-750 WSB is the station that's letting you offer strategies for healing for our city. It's 68 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. I'm back with your calls at 872-0750.
As news unfolds during the evening, there's only one AM radio station you can hear throughout the Atlanta area after sundown. Our news team is always on duty around the clock, 24 hours. Atlanta's station for news, daytime, nighttime, anytime. News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB. Depend on it.
Weekdays, when it comes to comedy, Atlanta turns to TBS 17. A great place for Brady's.
Well, Mom? Yes, Marcia. You can have your slumber party.
A great place for Fonzie.
Didn't you always say I was your favorite?
A great place for Jefferson.
We don't need your 2 cents.
You need all the sense you can get.
A great place for Jethro.
Yes, I decided I ain't going to be a brain surgeon.
A great place for Andy and Barney.
I don't want to talk. The only way to get it out is to talk. It's therapeutic.
A great place for Adams.
Very clever, mon cher.
Oh, Tish, that French goes right through me.
A great place for Sanford.
Your steady Freddy is ready.
You know them. You love them. They're your comedy, so watch them.
Don't be late.
Every weekday beginning at 4:35, only on TBS 17. A great place for comedy.
Hey, that sounds swell. Sure does.
It's back! It's back! Double the value of your trade! Or double your cash down! Yes! Budget Car Sales does it again! Get double the value of your trade, or double your cash down up to $4,000! For example, if your trade is worth $2,000, Budget will give you $4,000! If you put $2,000 cash down, Budget will make it $4,000 cash down! Now at Budget Car Sales, buy a 91 Dodge Grand Caravan SE with air and automatic, fully loaded, with double your $2,000 cash or trade. Just $10,995. Buy a 91 Ford Taurus, fully loaded, with double your $2,000 cash or trade. Only $79.95. Buy a 91 Dodge Dynasty, loaded, with air and automatic, with double your $2,000 cash or trade. An incredible $59.95 for a loaded 91 Dodge Dynasty. Get double the value of your trade, or double your cash down. Now at Budget Car Sale. Plus over 150 other vehicles in stock, including Cadillacs and Lincolns. Budget Car Sale, 975 South Cobb Parkway, a mile and a half south of the Big Chicken, Marietta.
Tom Shane.
Yes.
For Mother's Day, I'm going to get my wife a strand of pearls.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, don't take this wrong, but there are a lot of retail jewelers out by my house.
Right.
Why should I drive all the way to the Shane Company?
Well, value is the key. If you're looking for a quality strand of pearls, you're not going to get a better value anywhere in the state. We've got the largest selection. We've got all sizes and lengths. And our pearls are really well matched. They're well blended. It's a quality issue. They've got a lot of life. They're not chalky.
I see.
And for this Mother's Day, we've got an 18-inch, 6.5 millimeter cultured pearl strand. Lovely quality, only $199. And believe me, the difference in quality is apparent. Remember, we won't be beat in price, and I guarantee it.
The Shane Company on Wendy Hill Road, the first exit north of the perimeter on I-75. Go west at Wendy Hill. Open Monday through Friday till 8, Saturday and Sunday till 5.
Hey, I know you have a choice of what you do at night. I'm glad you chose News Talk Radio AM-750 WSB. To listen in with us tonight, Westminster at 1020. Kirk Millis, your own meteorologist, calls for a low tonight of 56 degrees, sunny and warmer tomorrow as it kicks off a warm weekend. Friday's high of 83, Saturday's high 88, and in the middle 80s on Sunday. It's 68 degrees. Again, here in Midtown Atlanta. Our phone number 872-0750. Stimulating talk radio with the city speaking out about strategies for healing. trying to help one another. That's what we're talking about here tonight with Brian and Buckhead on News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB.
How you doing, Wes?
Okay.
All right, as I sit here and I think about the healing process.
Yeah.
And I have a few comments, but as I sit here and I think about the races getting together, and it's people, black people, like on your shows, your old shows, like the late Charles King.
Mm-hmm.
He would come on your show and vividly and beautifully express his pain. Do you remember those callers that he would get?
Mm-hmm.
Some of the nastiest comments I ever heard in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one statement that I heard him say on your show was when someone puts a knife in your back and you're trying to get it out. Only way that knife's going to get out is the person who put it in take it out. And I sit here and I think about it, and I wonder, like I told your screener, as I listened to one of the earlier white girls call in and say that she had friends and they were going to go down and protest and this and that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Hey, let me tell you something. White people, the white community don't need to wait for blacks or get together with blacks. You notice around the whole country, we're not seeing now one group of whites get together and protest. But you can get a group of whites to protest about legalizing marijuana, stop killing pets for furs. But when it comes to a basic black human issue, it's not happening. To me, as a young black man, I just feel that whites just don't and do not want to understand. And it's been going on too long. We have
That's why I understand, and that's why I've been saying all night that we need to start understanding. And it's easier said. I understand this. It's easier said than done, and you can't do it overnight. But if we can start, Brian, I think, with developing an open-mindedness among everybody.
Yes.
There are people that want to work with other people. There are people that want to help.
Wes, let me say this. I can show you how you've been compassionate. The white community has been compassionate. I feel genuinely compassionate for the simple reason we got this on tape.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and we're still asking about the evidence. And it's clear cut. It's a cut and dry case right here.
And there are going to be other investigations.
And I sit back and I wonder. I said, well, maybe things have changed. Maybe it can get better. All I know is I'm tired of hearing the doors lock on me every day, standing on the corner, or waiting for the bus, or even if I'm in a suit and going into the same club, I just happen to walk by the car with my wife and click, 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 click. It's so much. I can't understand the fear myself because
you see, and what you described there is the kind of thing that people need to understand. They need to quit the reactions.
Yeah,
all the petty little reactions.
Yeah, I mean,
the door locks, and I know what you mean.
That stuff right there, it builds up.
Mm-hmm.
It really does because I'm angry because for the simple reason.
But look at look at the image that people have about our city downtown now.
Yeah. Well, that's always been like that. It's not just.
But it doesn't have to be.
It's not just today. Because I tell you what, we can, tomorrow, run a show on quotas, and you'll see how long this goes.
You see, I'll be very frank with you, Brian. I'm tired of the same old debate like that.
Because you know what? That's what's underlining. That's how this is happening.
And by the way, it works on both sides. You want to get into the political. I was discussing with somebody an hour or so ago, stopped by and said, the political thing, and look at the last 10 years and all that. And I've got some very strong views about the Reagan years that, other people disagree about. I understand that.
Yes.
But if we keep rehashing and refighting the old battles, we're not going to get forward. We've got to work together under a government of law.
Now take that same thought of mine about quitting, us stopping bringing up old things.
Mm-hmm.
You notice all your callers there say, well, or not just your callers here, but a lot of people thinking, we need to get back to Martin Luther King and this and this and that. But that man is dead. He's not going to come up out of that grave like Jesus. You know what I'm saying? He's gone. We need to start bringing other people up. We need to discuss.
But principles never die.
Yeah, I agree. But I think
the principles live on, and ideals live on. That's what that person was talking about earlier that you heard.
Let me tell you about. I want whites to understand a lot of these young brothers out here is that they feel that Martin Luther King and the Reverend Lowry and the other Reverend were failures for the simple reason they feel like it's still happening. Things are even worse than then. I tell you one thing that's worse now about see, I lived in L.A. for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The reason you guys are sitting there, or the people are wondering why lack of arrest and everything, it's the guns, my man. It's the difference between guns in the 60s and now. And it's a lot of hate, it's a lot of hurting, it's a lot of pain. If a black can sit there and kill one another, you know, that should let you guys know a little mindset right there. That's a lot of pain. You know, I understand the anger for the simple reason I can sit there and I'm not afraid. I'll go walk down the street right now in the middle of downtown right now. I don't care. I'm not afraid for the simple reason I'm living. I love my life. Everyone should have a value and a respect for life.
And there's another part of this whole contribution tonight we could add to, and that is getting back to values and trying to instill some values into these people. I mean, you know, we keep talking about, you know, how are we going to reach even the small numbers out there, and you can do so, but somebody's going to have to take values and share values and exemplify the values.
We got to learn where values come from, to put values and morals in the right perspective.
I agree.
Because, you know, like, we can easily say, like, our forefathers, Washington and those. I don't believe...
Marietta, you're on News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB. Good evening.
And good evening to you. Listening to you and all the people, it seems like we have problems. And we're talking about healing these problems.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard one person come up and say, we need to determine what causes these problems. And I think this is a very important thing.
Yeah, I believe in the beginning of last hour we were talking about, you know, everybody, and I can understand why symptoms are discussed often, but, you know, we need to start talking. If we're talking about healing and moving forward, then you need to get into the area of root cause.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've decided that there's three causes, really.
What's that?
Number one is demagogues. I mean, these are people that try to incite other people into action for their own good and their own glory. Number two, it's politicians, like the Los Angeles mayor that said, you got to express your anger. I mean, I thought that was irresponsible. And third, and I think the greatest problem is the media. It's how you present something, or what part of it you present. Like, for example, we're talking about all of these problems are from a small group. Well, I don't know, $40 million in damages, and 6 to 8 people killed, and hundreds.
Oh man, I've heard more than 40. 40. I think it's. I thought I heard earlier tonight 100 million, but
well, I had
whatever.
40, but that's not a small group. So this is why I say that I wonder what the media is presenting and how it's presenting things.
Well, and your point also about the demagoguery that goes around. You know, there's a lot of age-old demagoguery on both sides too. Let's to be balanced, to be fair. But I was a little frustrated and saddened last night when I was watching some of the events from Los Angeles and these meetings and these gatherings together. And I was looking for. I always try to find balance in things that I view. You know, is there fairness? Is there balance? Is it being, you know, are both sides of an issue being discussed? And you know, I heard a lot of decrying, and this is what we heard a lot of it on this program last night. People talking about the verdict and the outrage and the surprise and the shock, and all understandably so. But then, you know, I had not seen any of the television until I got home at about midnight last night. And then I watched television last night and into the wee hours of the morning watching KMBC Channel 4 in Los Angeles and watching, as it was carried here, 11 Alive fed into the NBC Nightside program. And then I watched TV today. And, you know, where's all the outrage and the decrying of violence? I mean, there is there, but, you know, you hear demagoguery on one side, anger and tempers. What about what we're seeing on TV? Where's all the anger and the outcry being generated against that? You know, I was really saying, gee whiz, look at this. This is happening in our country, and then unfortunately this afternoon in our city. But we're moving beyond that tonight, and we're moving into a city that is still caring about its future and still cares about its people, and that's what we're talking about tonight and coming up with strategies for healing. Thank you so much for the call, sir. Glenn in Riverdale on News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB.
Hello, Wes. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to express my views tonight.
Where do we go from here?
Well, I would like to say, number one, that I have very bad feelings about what's happened in L.A. and Atlanta. And I feel that an injustice is being done, but not in the case of Rodney King.
Well, we're talking about today moving forward. So what do we do today moving forward?
Well, what I'd like to say, and I hope you'll give me an opportunity to say what I feel, but what I have to say is that I feel that the court system and the jury system is correct.
Glenn, I don't mean to cut you short here, but we're moving forward here. I don't want to rehash the debates from yesterday and a year ago. I want to talk about what do we do in this city to move forward? What it's going to take?
To move forward today. Well, my message is that the white people and all the black people and everyone in this city should not take this group of people that are terrorizing the city, and they should not take the situation as a whole as a representative of all black people. I have
absolutely.
I have lots of black friends that do not agree with what's happened here.
All night tonight, in fact, all day on this radio station, I've been hearing people say, listen, we're talking about small numbers of people, in no way is a representative of the attitude of this city. I mean, in the sense that, yeah, people are outraged and they're upset, but people aren't, the majority of the town is not going out and causing disorder. It's a small number of people. I've heard that, and I think that's, it's been communicated over and over and over before. What we have to do, though, is how do you reach all peoples, not just one on one side of town or another on the other side of town. How do we get to all sides? And Glenn, you're right, and it needs to be reemphasized that the testimony of the city of Atlanta and the image of the city of Atlanta cannot be stereotyped. Again, this is a city that is moving forward, and it's a city that can heal itself, and is in fact healing itself, and we're doing it with helping one another and not letting the actions, the lawlessness that's been perpetrated by a few, try to be representative of the city as a whole. But again, everybody decries the violence. I do, and most people I've been talking to decries the violence, and a lot of the people calling in tonight. This is Jonathan in Gainesville on News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB. Hello?
Yes, I have 2 points I'd like to make. First of all, I live in Gainesville and work in Atlanta, so I care about what goes on in Atlanta. The 2 points I would like to make is I think we need a campaign for cooperation between the races with a symbol for that campaign. And the second point is that the older generation needs to communicate to the younger generation what we've learned. As far as the campaign, I think, I can imagine a picture of a man, an engineer who is black and works in Atlanta, who works side by side with an engineer who is white, and they say, I work in Atlanta, and we're too busy to hate. And then they shake hands.
When you say a campaign, are you talking about like a media campaign?
Yeah, a media campaign.
Something that's...
And the symbol is a black hand shaking a white hand. And then a black businesswoman who works in Atlanta shaking hands with a white businesswoman, and she says, I'm too busy to hate. And, we could have something like a campaign pin that has a black hand shaking hands with a white hand. And, if you see another person wearing that pin, then you say, hey, they believe like I do. And you could, it could open up conversations possibly between these people to talk about these problems. By the way, Jonathan, in businesses all across this city, people are already doing that. Yes.
I mean, it's not like that's not happening. I mean, there's all sorts of unity in the workplace and in this community.
I think it should be publicized, is my point.
Well, and I think, again, we talk about the hearts of people, And that's what we've been talking about tonight. That just needs to continue to spill over. The love and the unity, it's there, and it just needs to continue to be, it needs to be promoted, but it needs to continue to show and to spill over. Thanks a lot for the call. 12 away from 11 o'clock. By the way, Phil Hendry will be in here at 11 o'clock. He'll keep the phones open for you as well, so those of you that are on hold, you can just stay with us here at News Talk Radio AM-750 WSB. We want to know what you think.
As news unfolds during the evening, there's only one AM radio station you can hear throughout the Atlanta area after sundown. Our news team is always on duty around the clock, 24 hours. Atlanta's station for news, daytime, nighttime, anytime. News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB. Depend on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Frank Perdue.
It's occurred to me that some people can't tell how good a chicken is by its appearance. So I've devised this little test. Next time you're in the supermarket, hold your chicken up to a banana, or a grapefruit, or a nice squash. If the color doesn't match, your chicken could be a lemon, which is something that will never happen if you always insist on Perdue. My chickens turn out golden yellow because I feed them an expensive diet, rich in wholesome yellow foods, like top-grade corn gluten, even marigold petals. If a Perdue chicken ever turns out white, it's a sure sign something went wrong, and it will never make it past my quality inspectors. So if you ever find yourself holding some white chicken, take my advice. Go for the banana instead.
When it comes to chicken, Frank Perdue is even tougher than you are. He has to be, because his name and money-back guarantee go on every chicken he sells. It takes a tough man to make a tender chicken. Perdue. Fresh Perdue products are available at everyday low prices at Pace membership warehouses. Why not stop in and buy some?
For their size, they're some of the most vicious creatures on Earth. They exist only to feed their queen and protect their mound. And they won't hesitate to sting your children or pets if they get in the way. Fire ants are more than a nuisance. They're a menace. But they're no match for Orthene Fire Ant Killer. This breakthrough from Ortho works faster than Amdro and better than ordinary granules or drenches. After you sprinkle 2 teaspoons of Orthene on each mound, unsuspecting ants track it into the colony. And in no time, the whole population is wiped out, even the queen. Orthene doesn't just move mounds around. It destroys them. In fact, 1 little can is strong enough to eliminate up to 50 fire ant colonies. And we make Orthene easy to use with clear step-by-step directions. Orthene Fire Ant Killer. Serious control for serious pests. From Ortho, where it's our nature to help.
This is Diane Monell for Clinique, the good skin people who make the famous allergy-tested, fragrance-free cosmetic products, and more important, make them attainable. You know, I love the news that many of today's best fashion designers are coming down to earth in their clothing prices, and this includes some truly big-time designing names. But I can't help pointing out that Clinique has always understood about value and has always priced its skincare system affordably. I hate to sound like Miss Smarty or say I told you so to those fashion moguls, but the total suggested Clinique price tag for the 3-step, 3-product Clinique system of skincare, exactly as the dermatologist developed it, is $29.50. That's right. So maybe this is why, if you go to the Clinique counter in a store near you, you'll see the fashion designers themselves picking up their latest Clinique skincare supply and wearing a great big smile. This is Diane Monell for Clinique.
Beginning June 1st, you can save with TWA's new nonstop service from Atlanta to New Orleans, Orlando, or Tampa with a special low introductory fare of only $69 one way, or to Washington, Detroit, or Philadelphia with TWA's special low fare of only $89 one way, and no advance purchase or weekend stayover is required. These low fares are available for travel through June 21st. As a member of TWA's frequent flight bonus program, you can earn double miles June 1st through July 31st, 1992. Simply travel on a published fare on any TWA flight within the continental U.S. to or from TWA's new Atlanta hub. Yes, the 27,000 dedicated people of today's TWA want to save you money. We want to be your airline. For instant enrollment in TWA's FFB program and for reservations, call your travel agent or TWA at 1-800-221-2000 and start saving today. Fares are non-refundable, but value of ticket may be applied toward purchase of another TWA ticket. Restrictions apply. Seats are limited.
News Talk Radio, AM 750 WSB, where the temperature tonight will go down to 56 degrees. And warming up for a terrific weekend, too. With Kirk Mellish, our own meteorologist, calling for a high tomorrow of 83. Sunshine around the place. Saturday's high 88. 872-0750 is the phone number with 66 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta. All day today, I sat and as I was watching television, listening to News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB, and the comments and the calls and the reactions, the opinions, the views, and the analysis and everything. And I was saddened, I was sickened, I was frustrated, I was angry. All of those emotions, like many of you, all built up inside. It would have been so easy to come in here tonight and to basically vent it again. Well, we haven't tried to do that tonight. What we've tried to do is ask you to come up with some strategies for healing for our city and for our land. And I guess in my own personal way, I guess I would say that if you're a person who believes in prayer, and certainly this is a time for prayer and for commitment, for calm, and we're moving in that direction. I think that's the attitude. At least that's the attitude that I want to take. I hope it's the attitude that many people would consider. We will rise above this. We have to. We still are, believe it or not. This is a government of law. It's not a mobocracy. Tim in Decatur, glad to have you on News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB.
Hey, Wes, how you doing?
Okay.
I wanted to comment on how we can restructure Atlanta again.
Mm-hmm.
For one, the youth of today, they remember what happened, or their parents, what the parents told them that happened in the 60s. And without a doubt, they refuse to let it happen again. One thing that you said a while ago about prayer, I've talked with my mother, and she said that's one thing that the black youth today did not understand, is that we prayed more instead of done a lot of violence. I know a lot of people that were down there today that were sitting on the steps. They weren't actually doing any other violence.
Right.
But then again, I can understand the frustration of the youth, and I think there was a younger crowd that did not understand. They thought that breaking windows would get more attention than just sitting on the steps, and that's something that I totally disagree with. But one of your comments, a comment that a young man made about he was going to carry his 9mm, that's not going to do anything but make people more frustrated. And knowing that if he made that comment, there's somebody out there too that's going to do the same thing. With the black leaders, they need to get to the colleges, like the mayor said today. He needs that more of us need to get together, go to the schools.
They're communicating, and as I said in the onset of the program tonight, I thought the Atlanta police was doing a terrific job. I thought Mayor Maynard Jackson showed great leadership today. Fulton County Commission Chairman Mr. Lomax, I saw him also. The ones that I saw, I thought were not only displaying leadership, but also compassion and care, and that's what we have. That's the kind of message it has to be among all people, by the way, reaching out to all people. Tim, let me try to get one more call on. I appreciate your call, man. Call us again, okay?
Okay.
Gray in Atlanta on News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB. Phil Hendry will keep talking with you just after 11. Hey, Gray.
Hey, Wes. I've talked to you several times before, and I have to say we disagree about most things, but I really appreciate the approach you've taken to this topic tonight in the healing that you're talking about. I'm about as non-minority as they come, being a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant yuppie, but I found myself drawn to the Capitol steps today downtown to try to achieve some of this understanding that you've been talking about, and that may be a lost cause.
Try to break through it, not achieve it, but break through the
right, and try to at least for a few minutes identify with these people. And I tell you, the biggest thing I felt down there today was their utter frustration with the system as it has failed them. And everyone, the mayor today, and a lot of your callers have been saying, there's a way to work through the system, but the system utterly failed them. And while I don't at all condone what they've done, it's got to break somewhere, and they've got to show that frustration. And while I don't condone it, I've never been in a minority, and I can't say how I would react in the same situation.
Gray, with that, you got the last word on my program. We'll keep talking about this tomorrow, and I hope you'll call us again and offer your ideas.
Thanks,
okay?
Wes.
Thank you.
Bye.
Phil Hendry will keep talking, too, at 872-0750. Move a mountain tomorrow. Let's help one another. This is News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB.
Our absolute lowest Honda, Toyota, and Isuzu prices. Now through Monday, only at Willett. Get the bottom line price from Willett Honda Morrow, Willett Honda Isuzu West Douglasville, and Willett Toyota in Decatur. No negotiations allowed. These prices are absolutely the lowest we can go. A new 92 Honda Accord LX, just $13,777. A new 92 Toyota Camry with automatic transmission, only $13,995. A new 91 Isuzu pickup, a low $59,995. These are the lowest prices in Willett's history. Plus, choose from over 300 pre-owned cars and trucks at Willett's absolute lowest price. Our absolute lowest Honda, Toyota, and Isuzu prices. Now through Monday at Willett Honda Morrow, opposite South Lake Mall. Willett Honda Isuzu West, exit 8 off I-20 Douglasville. And Willett Toyota, corner of Church Street and North Decatur Road in Decatur.
WSB, AM-750. Every 30 minutes is fresh, up-to-date, and full of the news you need. It's Atlanta's Morning News here on AM-750 WSB. WSB, Atlanta.
News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB. Time to the tone, 11 o'clock.
Good evening. I'm Tom Kennedy in the AM-750 WSB News Center. Temperature at 11 o'clock, 67 degrees. Tonight's weather clearing, low 56. The exclusive WSB 5-day forecast in just a few minutes. It's quiet in downtown Atlanta tonight, but Governor Zell Miller has put the Georgia National Guard on standby just in case there is more trouble. The cleanup is underway in the area where young blacks went on a window-smashing rampage earlier today. Several whites were attacked. One man was seriously injured. The city of Atlanta has issued a curfew in the wake of today's disturbances. AM-750 WSB's Richard Sangster reports.
On the advice of police brass, Atlanta Mayor Maynard Jackson called for a curfew beginning at 11 p.m. The curfew will last until 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. The mayor said that things are calm this evening, and he expects them to remain that way throughout the night and early tomorrow morning. But just as a precaution, he's called for the curfew again that will last until 5 a.m. Reporting from Atlanta City Hall, Richard Sangster, AM-750 WSB News.
Mayor Jackson told a rally at Morehouse College that he's not going to cut the protesters any slack just because he himself is an African American.
I'm here as your brother. I share this with you. I'm not here to lord anything over you or to demand anything of you, except that we obey the law in this city. The law in Atlanta will be enforced.
Atlanta police officers made mass arrests downtown tonight. Major W.W. Holly says officers rounded up kids as young as 10 years of age.
We're trying to make sure, being very careful, make sure we don't have juveniles. You know, we had some 10 or 12 years old we just let go.
Holly says those arrested face charges ranging from disorderly conduct to resisting arrest. In Athens, about 100 students staged a peaceful march from the University of Georgia campus to City Hall, where they held a rally tonight. Speakers urged the crowd to keep peace in Athens, Clark County, and across the nation. They also urged the group to wear black and bring a friend to a rally tomorrow night. The Cobb County firefighters at the scene of an apartment complex tonight at Westminster Apartments in the 6800 block of Peachtree Industrial Boulevard. Several units involved in the fire, which can be seen from the road. No injuries reported. We have heard that those apartments were vacant. News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB. Coming up, President Bush reacts to the violence, plus the weather from Atlanta's only full-time radio meteorologist.
I'm driving down the road the other day when I start hearing these voices inside my head. They're talking about the invasion of Earth, roadkill, and the nationwide car care day sale with huge savings on spark plugs, wires, batteries, waxes, cleaners, brakes, oil, filters, everything you need to treat your car right after a long, hard winter. I think I'm going bonkers, so I go to see a shrink. Turns out I'm not possessed, just picking up radio stations on my dental work, including some planet near Alpha Centauri and this station for heavy metal headbangers, which explains the part about the roadkill. Now the government's paying me to stand around with my mouth pointed at Alpha Centauri and keep tabs on the invasion. Not to worry, though. The nationwide car care day sale is still on, and incidentally, the little green men watched a couple of political debates and decided to conquer a planet with intelligent life.
Hey, guys, don't just get it. Get it right. Nationwide Auto Parts.
Save big on everything for your car during the Nationwide Car Care Day sale, now through Saturday only.
When you want great deals for your lawn and garden, there's only one place to shop in Atlanta.
Pike Nursery. We've got to know how to grow.
Fresh off their spring tour, it's the Pike Family Singers. This week, the world's largest plant sale continues at all 24 neighborhood Pikes. Yes, it's another whiz-bang, fun-filled week of savings. You'll find impatiens, only $8.88 per flat. Colorful azaleas, a low $2.99. And Earth Helper pine bark nuggets, just $2.19 in the large 3 cubic foot bag. I gotta tell you, Plant Man, I love what you've done with these prices. Thank you. Don't mention it. Pikes also has geraniums and caladiums, both just 58 cents each. Plus, when you buy any 2 trees, you'll get a third one of equal value absolutely free. Folks, it's not so much a sale as a giveaway. It's the world's largest plant sale at Pike Family Nurseries for all your spring planting needs. Along with that helpful lawn and gardening advice we call the know-how to grow. Hit it, guys.
Pike Nursery. The know-how to grow. Pike Family Nursery.
News Talk Radio AM-750 WSB. It's 11:04. President Bush is urging restraint following the acquittal of the L.A. police officers charged with beating Rodney King. Wendell Goler was with the president tonight in Ohio.
The president vowed to see the law enforced and end the riots that followed the acquittal of 4 police officers videotaped beating Rodney King. But Bush said he would do his best to heal wounds and bring people together and meet with black and Hispanic leaders Friday. Bush departed from his speech text at a fundraiser in Ohio to appeal to people in Los Angeles and elsewhere to show restraint.
We must make no apology for the rule of law or the requirement to live by it.
Aides say privately Bush was astounded by the not guilty verdict, but that he can't show it because he can't threaten confidence in the jury system and can't weaken the civil rights case the Justice Department may prepare against the officers. Wendell Goler with the president in Columbus, Ohio.
California Governor Pete Wilson says National Guard troops there are authorized to return fire if they are attacked. 4,000 National Guardsmen have been called up to support police on the streets of L.A. Fires and looting have now spread into the Hollywood area, including stores bordering the Walk of Fame along Hollywood Boulevard. Police in riot gear are chasing after looters. At least one store is up in flames tonight. The time is 11:05. News Talk Radio AM-750 WSB, where the hotline number is the same as our name. Dial WSB NEWS. And Belt South Mobility customers call *750 free. Now Atlanta's most accurate weather with WSB meteorologist Kirk Mellish.
The National Weather Service 30 and 90-day outlook for Georgia, May through July. Near normal rainfall with below average temperatures in May and near normal temperatures June and July. The WSB exclusive 5-day forecast for tonight, clear, low 53 to 55. For tomorrow, sunny and warmer, high 82 to 84, low 58 to 60. The extended outlook, Saturday through Monday, partly cloudy and warm on Saturday, and then a cooling trend by Monday. High Saturday 84 to 86, low 62. High Sunday 76, low 55. High Monday 73, low 48. Recapping the forecast for tonight, clear, low 53 to 55. I'm meteorologist Kirk Mellish in the AM-750 WSB Weather Center.
Currently, WSB color radar, clear under clear skies. The relative humidity 61%. Winds from the west to 10 miles per hour. Barometric pressure 29.99 and rising. And at 11:06, the temperature on Peachtree Street 67 degrees. Phil Hendry is next. I'm Tom Kennedy, and if news breaks out, we'll break in. This is Atlanta's news, weather, and traffic station. News Talk Radio, AM-750 WSB. Depend on it.